once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello, my renegades, and we are back. And we are back into Love is Blind season 5, and we are now on episode 8. And oh my lord, my lord, my lord, my lord, what can I say about this episode? Anyway, before I get into it, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I am on and doing videos. And shall we talk? Shall we really talk about this episode, about these people? And again, from the top, I will ask, where did they find these people from? And also, what the fuck is Uche's problem? Like, what the fuck is Uche? Why did Uche have to go there? Why did Uche have to go to this dinner party to show him face and to show his ass? Like, seriously, why did he have to go? Why did he really have to go? So then you see Uche speaking to Milton, right? And my thing is I think he's trying to get into Milton's head because Uche believes that he needs to probably force retribution on Lydia because of the fact that he believes it was down to Lydia why him and Aaliyah didn't work out. No, love. Let's get it straight. The reason why you and Lydia did not work out, or you and Aaliyah, I should say, did not work out, is because you decided to hide that relevant shit from Aaliyah for that point in time because Lydia went about her business and didn't say nothing to Aaliyah. Not her being to Aaliyah. And I think she would have left it that way because she was making good friends with Aaliyah. So I think she would have left it that way and not said a thing and went about her business and doing her thing without saying nothing. But no, it was you, Uche. It was you that had to say something to Aaliyah. You could have kept your trap shut, but you didn't. You decided to say something to Aaliyah. So in essence, you started that fucking ball rolling. Absolutely started that ball rolling. So it comes to reason that Aaliyah would then go to Lydia and let Lydia know that she knew. Yes, Lydia overshared. I ain't going to deny that Lydia completely overshared and caused the proverbial snowball down of motherfucking hill rolling for that one. But yeah, Uche's a dickhead. Uche's an absolute dickhead. He's a manipulator. He's an absolute, he's a manipulator, and you can see how he was trying to manipulate this situation to make himself come off as good, but it didn't help his cause. It did not help his cause because Milton, and this is why I love Milton. This is why I love Milton, because Milton has an analytical brain and he was reading between the lines. So Milton was able to shut him down in the conversations that they were having with each other. So you see, Uche was playing his manipulative games. He was thinking that because Milton is so young and probably doesn't have that much experience about the world, that he thought he could come in and change Milton's view. He thought that he could come in and disrupt the situation that's going on between Lydia and Milton. And the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why is he feeling this strongly about fucking things up for Lydia? Like, seriously, why is this man feeling so strongly about fucking shit up for Lydia? If it's not the fact that he blames Lydia and he's seeking some type of revenge in terms of how things have gone on between him and Aaliyah, if it's not that, then it's obviously got something to do with the freaking connection that he feels he still has with her. He feels entitled to her time and her space, and anyone that comes in the way of that, he's gonna fuck it up for her. That's how I'm saying it. He's gonna fuck it up for her. Because he was an arse, like an absolute fucking arse. My thing was though, is Lydia came in and literally grabbed Milton and said, no, you're coming with me. And then it was like a tug of war between Lydia and freaking Uche to get Milton, for fuck's sake. And he's trying to say, well, I'm with my friend and I'm talking to my... I thought, fuck you, Uche. Fuck you, Uche. But then on the flip side, I thought, Lydia, now you should have let this man say what he needed to say to Milton and let Milton do what he needed to do at the end of the day, because Milton gave you an out. When Milton came in and said, we have dinner plans, we have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. Yeah, that was your cue to get up and walk out of the room with him, but you didn't. You stayed there and said, give me a minute. So you should have given Milton grace and given him a minute, because Milton ain't stupid. Milton is not stupid, and he ain't playing no silly beggars at the end of the day. But I think Lydia grabbed Milton because she knew, don't forget, she's been in a relationship with this man. Over a period of time, Lydia has been in a relationship with this man. She ain't been in no situationships with him. She ain't been in no fuck buddy relationship with him. She's been in a relationship with this man. She knows how Uche operates, and she knows what Uche does in order to get people on side. So Lydia knew she needed to get Milton away from that situation, and that's why she did what she did. So then the fucking shit blows all the way open, because Uche goes over to the rest of the group to tell them what's happening, and basically to try and paint Lydia as the fucking villain and the bad person in this situation. He did not manage to do that, because the good thing was, and like, I like Stacey because Stacey's like down to earth and literally doesn't take no shit from Izzy. But I don't like the way in which she talked and treated Johnny, because at the end of the day, that situation to me screamed of mean girlish. Both of them screamed of mean girlish. Anyway, I'm going to plot back into the situation where Uche tried and get all the rest of the group on side and paint Lydia out to be the bad person. Stacey actually was the one that actually reined Uche back in and said, oh, hold up. Nah, you don't know what went on over the girls' side. And in actuality, Lydia and Aaliyah were really, really close, and they formed a good bond with each other. When Aaliyah found out about the situation between you and Lydia, Aaliyah came back and spoke to Lydia, and Lydia confirmed, yes, like, you know, and they both cried about it and they both hugged. And Lydia was the one there where the situation happened where you jumped on her about this fucking cheating 2.5 years ago, Uche. Lydia was the one that was building her back up, and that's what Stacey told you. Now, peep Uche's response to that. He didn't like that. He did not like that. And then when Miriam tried to jump in, he then tried to tell her to shut her mouth. Like, she didn't need to be in the situation. And I'm like, but you didn't have that energy for Stacey though. You wanted to pull Stacey to one side and talk to her about what she'd said about the situation, what to try and do. So you'd listen to Stacey and not to Miriam. Why is that? And then you try to draw Miriam out. You then tried to draw Miriam out of her character, like trying to tell her about how she flipped from one bit to the... She did. Don't get me wrong, she did. He weren't telling a lie there where she was saying, well, what was your job? And I'm moving. No, I'm not moving. No, I've already moved. She did do that. She did. I ain't gonna lie, she did. But at the end of the day, Uche had no business doing that. And the one thing I liked about Miriam is Miriam got up basically and said, I am not Lydia and Aaliyah. I will read you for the filth that you are. Let's just take that in. She said, I am not Lydia and Aaliyah. You are not dealing with them two. You are dealing with me. I will read you for the filth that you are. She said, I will read you for the filth that you are. Oh, that was poetry in motion for me. I was sitting there like, yes, Miriam. Tell him, my gal. Tell him, yes, Miriam. And everybody, and Johnny had this shocked look on her face. And I'm like, do you not realise what's going on right now, my love? Do you not realise what's going on right now? And Lydia had these two strong people in her corner to tell Uche, nah, my boy. Nah, my boy, you ain't gonna play that today. You are not gonna play that today. Not with Lydia, no. You're not gonna make her look like the villain. You're not gonna make her look crazy. You're not gonna make her look like the bad guy. Nah, mate. Take your pills where they may at the end of the day, Uche. Try to pull a fast one on the wrong ones. And then he went off. And I think then Milton came back in. And then they had their conversation with each other. So then you see like Lydia come back in and she's chatting with the girls, and the girls are literally telling her in terms of what Uche was saying and how it went about. And Lydia then confirmed that actually Uche cheated on her through their relationship. And I'm like, my boy. So that's what you were doing with Lydia, and try to make her like she crazy, like she cray. But yet you had the audacity to say what you said and jump down Aaliyah's throat when she did a misdemeanor 2.5 years ago. Izzy Uche. Like Izzy Uche. And this is why I'm saying you got to read between the lines when Uche talks. You've got to read between the lines. Case in point, the conversation that he was having with Milton. My man was taking too much interest in Lydia. The second part of the conversation he had with Milton, he was taking too much of an interest in Lydia in terms of like basically saying what did he say to him? What did the man say to him? In terms of like asking how their communication went. And to be fair, Milton's and Lydia's communication hasn't been off. Like, it's been on point, to be fair. Let's put it that way. It hasn't been off in the slightest. It seems as though it may be better communication than she probably had in a relationship when she was with Uche. At the end of the day, judging by how they are with each other. So basically he literally was trying to ask Milton all these questions and try and get Milton on side. And Milton was basically saying about, in terms of his mum, that perception from two different people is completely different at the end of the day. And basically Uche was saying, well, don't you think like past behaviors will determine their behavior now? And what would you think if you were trying to talk to Lydia and she just got up and walked away? No, Uche. No, Uche. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you were literally, even though you were calm in your tone, you were literally trying to push the buttons of Lydia in terms of how you were saying the shit that you were saying to her. You were pushing her buttons, and because she became the loud one and walked away, you're trying to make it as though she was the unreasonable one, when no, in actual fact, you were the unreasonable one. Because I'm still now wondering why in the fuck they let that man in that place. Why did they let that man in that place? I don't know. At the end of the day, and each time that he's talking to Milton, he's trying to change the goalposts to try and get a hit on Milton. But Milton weren't letting him in, because Milton told him communication was good. Milton told him that he thought he picked the right one. And yes, he saw it going well with him and Lydia because he loved her. He loved her at the end of the day, and Lydia loved him. So there was no way you was getting in between that, Uche. You were trying your hardest, but it didn't work out for you. And then in the end, you had to fucking leave with your tail in between your legs, didn't you? Yes, you did. You had to leave with your tail in between your legs, Uche. Because my guy, that was just a piss poor performance. Absolute piss poor performance. And I'm sorry, anybody who was watching Uche and thinking that he was in the right, I don't have nothing for you. I really don't have nothing for you, because Uche was not in the right. Uche was completely in the wrong. Uche was the bad guy. Uche is the fucking villain, not Lydia. Uche is the villain. So then we have a whole other scenario going on. And this is where I am going to lead off by saying that Izzy and Uche are one and the same. Izzy and Uche are one and the same in the way that how they behave with other people. So you got Izzy literally trying to fuck up the relationship between Chris and Johnny. And I would have been sitting there and thinking, why the fuck do you care so much about their relationship? If Chris has picked her, It's got nothing to do with you, because you're with me at the end of the day. And that's what Stacey should have picked up on. You are with me at the end of the day, so what the fuck does it matter? No, she waited until fucking after the fucking meal to then say, what does it matter? No, your keywords would have been taking your man to one side and say, what does it matter? You're with me, you're engaged to me. If they're having a relationship, leave them be. Chris don't need you to pick up for him, Izzy. Chris don't need you to pick up for him. At the end of the day, Chris had already explained to Johnny why he wasn't going to get engaged to her. That man ain't stupid. That man ain't stupid. Johnny is the one making it up to him for putting him as second best, knowing full well she shouldn't have picked Izzy in the first place. Now, Izzy's behaviour is just telling me he didn't like the fact that Johnny had someone else in the wings. He wanted Johnny to be fucking crying and all upset that that he didn't pick her. And then he wanted to suck stuff in Johnny's face if they went to the dinners, if she was by herself, and saying, look how good my relationship is. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to show up and show off with Stacey. But he knew he couldn't do that because Johnny didn't give a shit. Johnny didn't give a shit, but he had to try and exert some control and manipulation within their relationship somewhere. And Chris was kind of a dickhead for sitting there and listening to Izzy in the first place. Even when Izzy turned around and was saying, oh, she told me I love you quite a few times, and Chris was like, what? What? And I'm like, hold the fuck on. Don't start off from that point. Start off from the previous point when you was trying to get Johnny to say to you exactly how she felt and would she freaking fight for you. So that's where that came about. So don't make it out as though Johnny walked into the room and then all of a sudden said, oh, I love you so much, Izzy. No, she didn't. That was not the situation in any way, shape or form. The only thing I can say about Johnny is the fact that she was honest with both of them. She was honest with both of them, and she didn't tell no lies in regards to when they ask her the questions, she will give the answer, and she's quite honest. She don't hide from it. So I don't understand where Izzy was going with this whole situation with Johnny. And all I can think of is he was doing an Uche. He was doing an Uche with Johnny. The thing that I will say is the words and terminology that Stacey used towards Johnny in that conversation was fucking foul. Like, absolutely foul. And Johnny's good that she stood and didn't get angry in that sense and was quite calm, because I'm a different kettle of fish. Like, seriously different kettle of fish. Because I'm telling you, if someone's going at me like that, oh, they wouldn't have a mouth left. They wouldn't have. I'd snatch that mouth straight off their face. Like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Who do you think you're talking to? And first and foremost, why were they sitting there arguing over Izzy? Chris was sat there like minced fucking meat, while Johnny and fucking Stacey were literally blah, 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 over Izzy. Over Izzy. And what was Izzy doing? Izzy was fucking quiet like a church motherfucking mouse. That man didn't say a word when Stacey was saying something, but yet had to pipe up when Johnny was saying something. I'd have said, shut your rotted mouth, my guy. Shut your mouth right now, my guy. And I would have turned around to Stacey and said, you know what? This is a pointless conversation. I ain't arguing over no man. At the end of the day, what does it have to matter what me and Chris are doing amongst our freaking selves? As long as I'm honest with the person that I'm with, you should pay no motherfucking mind. Deal with your situation over there, sir. Because at the end of the day, Izzy's engaged to Stacey, not Johnny. So why is he up in her business for? Why is Stacey up in her business for? And that's what I mean. Them two were mean girl in it. Like, proper mean girl in it. So then you see it moves to Milton and Lydia. And Milton is so good with Lydia in terms of how he was speaking into her. He was calming her, and he was telling her that he loved her, and he was basically saying, don't bother about Uche, don't bother about that situation. At the end of the day, he was being her rock at the point that she needed it, and he was showing that. I just hope it continues. Like, seriously hope it continues, but we shall see. So then we go to Stacey and Izzy when they're in their flat, and I've already highlighted on the fact that this is the position where Stacey then gets to saying, why were you defending Chris? Chris don't need you to defend him, and he's not a puppy, and this, that and the other. And then basically Izzy turned around and says to Stacey that it got him hot watching her pop off at Johnny the way that she did. And I said, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's Izzy in a nutshell. That is Izzy in a nutshell. He's a surface level man. He's a proper surface level man. It got him hot to watch another girl going at another girl over you. Over you. That's fucked up, man. That is fucked up in itself. That's all I'm going to say. That is fucked up in itself. And basically, she was saying that she doesn't want that. Stacey doesn't really want that. Stacey wants him to be able to get her over other reasons of her. She doesn't want him to be seeing her like popping off at someone for him to be thinking, oh yeah, this is really turn, because that's not her type of character. Could have fooled me that wasn't Stacey's character, because she felt quite natural in insulting Johnny to the motherfucking hilt at the end of the day. Could have fooled me, but that's not what she wanted. Now, you see, as this conversation progresses, you see the changes in Izzy, like where he begins to kind of shut down, and then when he twists the situation to make Stacey feel bad and the guilty-ridden party for making him feel that he's doing all he can in this marriage in terms of meeting her needs and doing housework or doing X, Y, and Z, and she's not noticing all the things that he is doing because he wants a good old pat on the back, basically. So that's what he did. He's a manipulative son of a gun at the end of the day. He's a manipulative son of a gun, and he did kind of gaslight her, like basically throwing it back at her to make her feel like the guilty party. And then my dude cried. I was like, Izzy, give your motherfucking head a wobble. Like, seriously, give your head a wobble and roll your, wind your freaking, why are you crying? Why was this dude crying? Why was he crying? Like, seriously, why? Somebody tell me why. Why was he crying? Why? Like, really, why? I mean, it's a good thing when men show strength, because in terms of crying and stuff, yes, it's a good thing. You want to see men emote their emotions, but he was emoting his emotions to make Stacey feel guilty for basically telling him there's some needs that he is not meeting and having a conversation about it. So in turn, he decided to make her feel guilty about expressing those feelings that she had in terms of where he was falling short, then to make sure that she felt bad for expressing those feelings, and that's why he freaking cried. Manipulative tactic 101, that. No, absolute manipulative tactic 101. So then you see Lydia and Milton just having a discussion in regards to the situation that happened between him, Uche, and Lydia itself. And basically Milton is trying to tell her that you know, showing emotion is kind of a prejudice, but there's certain ways in which you should show emotion, and you shouldn't let people take the wind out of your sails in that way in order for you to then react in the way that Lydia reacted. And Lydia basically did say to him that she shouldn't have let anyone control her emotions and that she should have known better. But at the end of the day, my thing is she was in quite an explosive situation, to be fair. She had this person that she's had a relationship with that has probably treated her kind of like shit throughout that relationship, being kind of manipulative and kind of controlling, and knowing how to push her buttons in order to make her look a certain way and him look a certain way. So when she gets into that situation with him again, it's literally like the same thing reoccurring all over again, like it did within their relationship. And that's what happened in that scenario. So basically, you can't blame Lydia for literally having the reaction that she did with Uche, because Uche was trying to press her buttons royally, and the way that he was doing it was by trying to allege that she's done X, Y, and Z, but leaving out the clear facts of why she was acting in the way that she was acting when she was in a relationship with Uche. But he was trying to sit there and make her look like the absolute villain and say, look, you did this behavior out of nowhere. Like he didn't know where it came from when he did. So then it clips to Stacey at work, basically, and Izzy meets Stacey at work with a little bag, and I'm thinking, oh, he's brought her something nice. So basically, they have the chat about what happened last night, and he was basically saying that he's saying his feelings got hurt, and I'm like, how How, my guy, how did your feelings get hurt? Like, seriously, Izzy, how did your feelings get hurt by Stacey telling you what was missing and how you could fill in the gaps for that? How did your feelings get hurt? How are you gonna have these conversations if you both decide to stay married? Because at the end of the day, any woman that you're with, if you're not pulling your weight, they're going to freaking well have no conversations with you about it. They're gonna tell you about it. So how are you gonna cope with it? You're gonna run off and freaking cry in the cupboard? Like, seriously, is he gonna run off and cry in the cupboard? My God. So basically, he's trying to say that she caught him off guard and it hurt. And he's saying that he thinks he's putting his best efforts forwards with her but feels unappreciated. I, 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 I just can't with Izzy. Like, seriously, I just can't with Izzy. Does this man want a freaking what's it, party each time he does something? Does he want a firecracker each time he does something? Does he want a firework letting off each time he does something to say, oh, you've done something in the house, that's brilliant? All I'm saying is, if you're living with someone and you're doing something and they really can't see you doing it or putting in the work, as they say, then they're going to mention it. Then they're going to mention it. I'm just like, raw, Izzy, what? Come on. Like, come on, my guy, come on. So basically, what Stacey was saying, that she wants the things that she does for him reciprocated, because even when she's tired, she will get up and do certain things for him before she goes to work, so he doesn't have to do it when he gets up in the morning. And she would just like a little bit of reciprocation. But you see me when I was watching that, and they were talking, and he was basically saying that he loved her and or giving her the Stacey was smiling. Stacey was smizing so hard because that girl wanted to laugh in his face. Like, seriously, if you watch it back and you watch carefully, Stacey was smizing so hard. And I'm like, are you taking this serious, my love? Like, are you listening to this dude and really taking him serious? Because in my heart of hearts, I don't think she really is taking it serious. So basically, she gave him the hug and gave him the reassurance and all this, that, and the other. So all I'm saying is, he just wants a pat on the back for the bare minimum, and then when he's called out for it, he puts the shit on the other person. That's what Izzy does. Now let's get to this bloody pink bag he brought into her workplace with him. Here's me thinking, usually when things go wrong, people will normally either buy roses or something, an expensive gift or some type of meaningful gift. My man bought her a motherfucking plunger with his words written on it, and a picture of her, him, and the dogs. Picture of her, him, and the dogs. Okay, I get that. But the plunger, only them two will get it. Like, seriously, only them two will get it, because I would look at that and then look at the right and I'd be like, what? So each time, like, you've wrote some perfect words or what you think is perfect words on this plunger, and it's supposed to be a good sentiment, knowing full well what plungers will be used for. Trying to suck shit up either out of a fucking blocked drain in a or the blocked U-bend in a fucking toilet, or the blocked drain in a fucking sink to shook up crap. That's what you brought me the plunger for. So what are you saying? What are you saying about our relationship then? So then it moves to Stacey and Izzy. And Izzy's mum comes for a visit because basically she wants to meet Stacey and the person that's potentially going to marry her boy at the end of the day. Mama is saying that she is in shock in regards to how the whole thing has come about and what's happening in regards to that, because she wouldn't have built this relationship with this person that he's now living with. So she's asking him and trying to get an idea from Izzy what Stacey is like. So Izzy basically was singing Stacey's praises and basically saying that she knows when I am okay, and says that she knows him. And basically he was saying that in his past relationships with girls, when problems came up, they always ran away. And it's at that point that I was thinking, do you not think that you might be the common denominator in that situation, Izzy? Do you not think that you may be the problem here and not the girls when they run away? Because maybe they've tried to bring up certain situations, like Stacey's brought up certain situations, but met with a motherfucking brick wall or someone that will try and fling it back onto them and make them feel like they're the guilty party. Could he not be the problem? Izzy, could you not be the problem, Izzy? That's what I'm thinking. So basically, he's trying to say that Stacey is special, but she's not easy. Basically, she's tough to deal with, but she's also tender, sweet, and fragile. And something about her makes him want her more every day. And I'm like, this is why he didn't pick Johnny and Lydia, because it's Stacey that gives him the fight. She is the fire that sets on him, basically, and she won't just literally just fall over at his feet. She won't do it. She won't do it. And I think for Izzy, it's about literally being able to claim Stacey and to try and, like, you know, put her to where he wants her to be in regards to the relationship and how she behaves and how she reacts and stuff like that. Because I've seen, and I've had it happen to myself, that when it comes to a person, man, woman, whoever, when they're quite vocal at times, or they will tell you, I am putting up with that, or they see through shit pretty quickly and they can become quite standoffish and know that they ain't gonna fall at your feet 24/7. Some certain people actually want to try and dim that light. They do. They actually want to try and dim that light. So Stacey comes in, and basically Stacey and the mum do hit it off. Stacey's open. She's an open and direct person at the end of the day. And you could see that Izzy was nervous because his leg was just literally shaking 10 to the dozen when they were having their conversation with each other. So basically she was saying that he's brought out an emotional, vulnerable side to her and allowed her to connect. Allowed her to connect with him deeply in that sense. And I'm thinking, do they actually believe their own words? Like, seriously, do they believe their own words? Because I ain't seen none of this. Like, seriously, not seen none of this, to be fair. And to be honest, both of them are getting on my tits. Yeah, Stacey and Izzy are both getting on my jujus at the end of the day. Because do I see them working out? No, I really don't. No, there's just something quite not right with Izzy at the end of the day. Something just ain't quite not right with him. And then we get to Lydia and Milton is taking Lydia to his family's house. And basically, Milton explained that it was kind of sink or swim in his household because his parents were quite strict. And Lydia was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you better put your game face on for this one, Lydia. Like, literally better put your game face on for this one. So they go to Milton's house, and already Milton's mum is giving the side eye. Like, she is watching, like, because this is her baby boy. This is her baby boy. Total baby boy. And she's a black mother too. She's a black mother. We do things differently. We do things differently, especially when women come around. And so they were having their conversation. And basically, you could tell that mum was not really receptive to everything that was going on. And neither was the sister in that sense. And you could also tell as the conversation was going on that Milton was so uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable with the conversations that were happening. But no one was saying anything. So basically, mum saying that she was curious as to why a 30-year-old would want to go for a 24-year-old. And all I would say is Lydia was answering them questions, man. Lydia, every firing dart that was coming her way, Lydia was like, bap, 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 bap. But because she was answering the questions so well, mum and sister didn't think it was real coming from her because they felt that she was too well versed in the way that she was answering the questions. And I'm like, well, what are you expecting? One, it's a motherfucking test, because you're testing the hell out of her right now. You're testing the hell out of her. And number two, she had to have her wits about her. It's not like she went and crammed for a freaking test. Do you know what I mean? To say, well, they might ask me these questions, they might ask me these questions. What am I going to answer here? At the end of the day, Lydia was answering as soon as the questions were coming out. Lydia was answering. She didn't even give herself time to think about how she was going to answer it. She was just answering the questions, and I think she was answering them honestly. So basically, they were asking her, what makes you sure that he's the one? And Lydia was basically saying that he was her best friend, and they both said that this was important as well. You need to have a best friend as well as your lover, as well as your husband. And so yeah, they were calling like the way she answered the questions a little bit too well. They were saying it was scripted, and this is why I said, I said, how can it be scripted? She's coming to you off a whip, basically. So in other words, she's being brought to you so you can meet her and have your discussions with her. So how can she script what answer she's going to give you? She don't know what questions you're going to give her at the end of the day. So basically, it was an interview. That's what they're saying. It was literally an interview of her, of how well she would meld and mesh within that family, and if she would be a good fit for their Milton, aka James. That's how I'm gonna say it. Their Milton, aka James. So basically, Jessica, his sister, was saying that she had concerns because marriage is so big, and she wanted to know what makes Lydia ready now. And Lydia was basically saying that she's not here to fool around and play around with anybody. And before we get to the end of this episode, the sister was basically just ended on basically the sister basically saying that she just doesn't know. Like, she just doesn't know. So basically, she's saying that James, aka Milton, needs to give some surety that this is what he wants. This is the path that he wants to travel with this person. And he hasn't given that surety to his family, how they see it at the end of the day. And that's where it ends. And I am going to be back with the next episode in quick succession. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button, so when you know I am back on and doing videos. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.